Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Stateside Market Report with Tim Robinson and Bryant Naylor. Bryant, how are you?
Nose itches, Tim.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bryant's nose itches. We just tried to bring
Bad
you the
timing.
facts, the hard, cold facts. Bryant's nose itches. Bryant, you're going to Columbia next week, man.
I am. I'm going to be in Columbia
We're gonna
before
record on location
before this ends, or before this will be it's aired.
before
I
this
will be in Columbia.
before this episode ends. You're going to be in
Yeah.
Columbia. That's going to be quite a feat of
I'm not
technology.
ready. I don't want to get on a flight. I don't want to even think about an airplane right now.
So we're gonna be global. We'll bring it to you from wherever we are. Ryan's gonna record live from Columbia, but until then, we are here in the DC metro area with a market report. So we have updates, and we talk a little bit beforehand, and it's a lot of the same, Brian.
It is. Interest rates are now at a 22-year high.
They're up there.
Well, that's
They're up
great
there.
news.
Yeah.
It's just people are accepting it. It's becoming the new normal. There's a lot of people buying, selling houses right now, and it's lower than obviously the last few years because the last few years have been such an anomaly with low interest rates and everybody moving and buying and selling. It's just been all over the place. So the great rate lockdown continues. People are kind of just still tied to their houses because of their low interest rates and kind of preventing people from maybe not moving, but they're not selling. They're holding on to it and maybe buying another property or something because they don't want to get out of that low rate. I think they're saying there's going to be another rate hike too. The Fed coming out, I believe.
Yeah, one more. Yeah.
So I don't know. And everything I read and see from some of these top economists are they all are either don't know what's going on, why interest rates aren't following inflation rates, because inflation rates have gone down. So everybody expected the interest rates to go down, but they're not. But also they also say the same thing by the end of the year 2023, they're projecting the interest rates to be down into the sixes.
They're saying that now by the end of 2023.
They're still
Oh, yeah,
saying
yeah.
that. And then even possibly in 2024 down back into like the low fives. I don't know. I
I
know.
don't think that's right. Yeah, Brian, this is interesting because like you and I listen to podcasts, we read books, we read blogs all the time about what's going on and how the people much smarter than us are tracking this. And honestly, everyone has a different opinion, and when you
Right.
look at these macro things and they, tied to the 10-year T-bond and then but that, pushes down demand for bonds and therefore demand for mortgages goes up and all these interrelations on these macro scales that most of us don't deal with because the Fed's dealing with it. It's really hard to see how all these levers being pulled are affecting various things and kind of the trickle down and lag effect of the mortgage rates. It's not like the Fed raises interest rates and then boom, that's a direct correlation because it lags. Like the mortgage
Right.
companies are smart. They know the Fed has said we are going to raise interest rates again. So they've already baked that in, so it's not like when they raise it, it just immediately goes up.
Right.
That's already baked
It's
in
already
now.
happened.
Right. And so there's just I think the bottom line is we have no idea. And people that are way smarter than us are saying way different things. Some people are
Yep.
saying it's going to go up, some people are saying it's going to go down. I think the bottom line is, what we like to come back to with our clients is let's focus on the monthly number.
Exactly.
What are you comfortable paying? It literally, I mean, it does matter. I'm not going to say rates don't matter. Rates do matter. They just do because you can afford less money when the rates are high, period. But let's focus on what you can afford. That house that you were going to buy last year at $1 million, you're probably now down at like 650, 700. That's just a different house. That's a different neighborhood. So let's reverse engineer that, see what's your monthly. If you can spend $2,500 a month, let's do some mortgage calculations and see what you can get for $2,500 a month. Then you can see if it makes sense to buy now or maybe rent for a little bit until you can, the rates either come down or you produce more income and you can get a $3,000 a month house. Like there are things that we can control what we can control. We can't control the interest rates. We can wait it out indefinitely and they might continue to go up. Like that doesn't make sense. All we can control is what we are willing and able to spend on a monthly basis. So let's really focus on that number. And then let's look at houses in areas that match that number, right? Like that's all we can do. And I think the more you focus on that and make it more tangible and say, okay, this is coming out of my paycheck every month for my housing. Doesn't matter what rate it is. You know what I mean? Let's focus on the house that you can afford within that budget.
Yep. No, I think that that's exactly what I was going to say as well. Is let's reverse engineer what you can afford with the current interest rates and go from there.
That's
There's
it.
like we can't control the interest rates. It's they're where they're at, and it's become the new norm, at least for the foreseeable future. Those same people I'm talking about that are saying interest rates are going to come down by the end of the year next year are the same ones that said the interest rates were going to be down right now. Maybe not down
Exactly.
to the fives, but not 7.2 or whatever they're sitting at today. They're all kind of thinking the same thing, trying to figure out what's going on, why all their economic indicators are just pointing in one direction and the interest rates are going in the other direction. So
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like I'm out of the prediction game. Like ever
yeah,
since COVID, like that's out the window. Like it doesn't. Tim, what do you think about the market the next 3 years? I don't know. I believe in real estate. I believe in people having houses, and you have to find one that works for you in an area that you like. Period. Like let's make the numbers work. We cannot control the interest rates. Waiting on the interest rates to go down is a losing proposition. It just is. Because they're either going to go up, in which case you got a good deal now by buying, or they're going to go down, in which case if you bought now, you can refinance out and pull some cash out, or just get a lower monthly payment. I mean,
right.
it,
And
it
then
doesn't make sense to wait for
right,
rates.
and when they do come down, what's going to happen? The market is going to get flooded
Flooded.
by millions of people that have been saying that too, where they're all waiting for the interest rates to come down, and then when they do, again, there's still not going to be enough inventory, and then demand is just going to go through the roof, which is going to drive up prices. It, there's just no ands ifs or buts about that. It's just
Right.
that's what's going to happen, because we've seen that happen even with higher interest rates with low inventory. We're still seeing a lot of offers on houses
Yes.
for all cash, waiving contingencies, and people are locking in a 7.2% interest rate.
Yeah. I mean,
So
and we
wait
have
until people are going to lock in a 5.5 interest rate. They're going to be paying way over asking, even more over
yep,
asking than now. So
just free money at that point, right?
yeah,
And I mean, we probably have like, I don't know, 350 million American subscribers to this channel, I would say. So there's probably still like, I don't know,
that's
30
about
or
the
40
latest number
million.
I saw. Actually, yeah, it's three
Yeah. So we have
million.
we have about 95% of America subscribes to Stateside's YouTube channel. So the other 5%, I mean, they all know to buy now, but the other 5% that haven't listened to our channel yet but will soon, they're going to be flooding that market. So if you want
Yeah,
to beat out that 5% of America that's going to be bidding up these DC houses, like you better get on it, is what I'm trying to say. Um, I'm serious. We have that many subscribers. That's what I'm trying to say. So you got to beat them out. You got to beat them out. Yeah. So I mean, I honestly get sick of talking about this because it's rates, rates, rates. And honestly, you look back at historical average. We've said this a million times. We're historically average right now. It's just a shock to the system when it goes up more rapidly than it ever has over the past year. Like, but it is what it is. I hate that phrase, but it's true. And you have to examine yourself. See what you can afford, see what you're comfortable with. What type of house does that buy, and where? Like that's where we're at. And if it doesn't work, then maybe now is not the right time. But if I don't want the reason to be because you're waiting for rates to come down, because everything you said, everyone is still waiting for rates to come down. And if and when they do, it's going to be a mad dash again.
yeah.
Um,
People ask me all the time if they think housing prices are going to go down. Maybe nationally in the country, they will possibly at some
not
point.
here.
Some places have,
Yeah.
not here.
Nope.
I mean, they're gonna continue to, it's just, there's no other way around it. There's not enough housing, uh, and there's way too much demand. It's just,
Yep.
bottom line is the houses are not gonna get any cheaper.
No.
Period. Gonna
Period.
go up.
Right. And that's and it's I think that that requires a little further examination because you're absolutely right. People see headlines, people see national headlines and apply that to whatever market they're in. That is faulty advice. It is not true. Real estate is local, period. It
It
is.
is.
So if you see these headlines like home prices are going to decrease by 20% because they went up 22% in COVID, blah, 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 blah. Maybe if it's an aggregate of the country. I mean, just think about DC, Maryland, and Virginia, three very different states. Like if you get even more local in there, prices are going up in a lot of markets.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't read these national headlines because just if you're looking to buy in this area, they don't apply. So we just, you have to talk to an agent and see what we're seeing because we know that that's not the case. If you're waiting for prices to fall, you might be waiting indefinitely. I don't see prices falling here I hate to say ever and speak unequivocally, but I
No,
don't
I'm
see
right. And I could
how
see
that could
them.
happen.
I can see them there. I mean, prices are always going to correct every once in a while based on
Right.
the market cycle. But before that ever happens, prices are going to continue to go up until that point. Then then they might correct, 5% or so. But but at that point, you've already made so much equity in your house over whatever, years of it before there's a correction. The numbers just lean that direction. Like it's they might correct, but overall they're going to continue to appreciate.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's exactly it. So, yeah, market update, a lot more of the same. You can wait if you want, but it's ill advised. If you want a house, like it's not, if you're like debating on renting versus owning, that's kind of another conversation. But if you're looking and waiting for interest rates or prices to drop, I do not suggest that. So let's reverse engineer, get that comfortable monthly number and go from there. Anything else, Brian?
I think that's it.
Good, we nailed it. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Stateside Residential Report. Be the 351st million subscriber, and we'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. But you have to give us your email address, and we'll send it out that way. Okay. Until next week, we will see you maybe live from Columbia. Bryant, is that
Maybe
right?
we'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see how tired you are.
Yeah.
All right, smash that subscribe. Tune in. We'll give you updates next week.
Thanks,
Good.
everybody.
All
Yep.
right.